All right, welcome to the Self Help Empowerment Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Lance William Green. I am the CEO of LWG Corporations. I'm also a published author of 9 books. All of my books are available at lulu.com/Lance William Green. And you can always contact me at LWG dot corporations gmail.com. So today on the Self Help Empowerment Lifestyle podcast, I just want to talk to you a little bit about some things I've been thinking about. Um, I've noticed the news cycle is starting again. Um, of course, we have the Iran war, which is kind of a repeating thing in the news. The Iranians not having a nuclear weapon or having weapons of mass destruction, or that we need to stop Israel from, or I mean, not Israel, but Iran from having a nuclear weapon. Um, so that was the first cycle. And then I knew what was going to come was going to be some disease. And so now we have the hantavirus that they're making a big deal out of. They got a ship out there in the ocean, not letting it dock, and they're testing people, and they're all in their hazmat team suits and everything. And I remember it wasn't that long ago. There was hantavirus around in Yosemite, and they didn't freak out and do what they're doing. But I know what's going on. It's part of the news cycle. It's a news event. It's something that they can prepare us for the next disease that's going to be released. I believe coming from Iran, from one of their bioweapons labs, because they also have peaceful programs, and they probably are going to release some kind of deadly disease, and maybe that's where this hantavirus really is coming from. I don't know for sure, but you never know. And then, of course, we have the other cycle of the people running people over with trucks at celebrations and things. And then we also have the cop shooting the defenseless black guy. That's probably going to be in the news soon. And then we also have the school shootings that we like to focus in on. And then what else? There's a few things that the news cycles on. You'll notice if you start keeping track of the dates of these things and how the news reports them, it follows this cycle of war, disease, shootings, police brutality. Oh, and then of course we've got the immigration cycle that's going to come in there soon, and about how immigrants are being mistreated and how children are being separated from their parents and things like that. That's another news trick that's going to come up. Let me think. I'm trying to think of the other things. I should have wrote all this down, but you notice that there's a pattern of things that the news does to like condition or train the people or control the narrative around things. And it's a cycle. They'll focus on it. You'll notice it. I mean, if you really pay attention, if you don't already see it, they'll zoom in on the immigration. They'll zoom in on the school shooting. They'll zoom in on some white cop shooting a black guy. That's their thing. Or a white cop shooting a illegal immigrant. Or now, they like to do the one with the border patrol agent shooting some white woman or killing some Mexican or someone from another country, and then all of a sudden later on, a few months later, then they tell the truth. The guy had a gun and all that, but they like to focus in and make a big deal saying the police didn't do their job right and everything else. But that's their story. That's their narrative. They want to feed everyone. So I'm just waiting to see what else comes along. They do like to throw in those every once in a while, like earthquake, tornado, tsunami things, and power plants, fires. So we'll probably get into the fire season where they burn neighborhoods down, and so that'll probably be on the news. They'll do a cycle of that probably. Um, so anyway, I have noticed that, but I thought maybe that I would start talking about some of the things like that. You'll notice that there's a cycle. of things they focus in on. They've kind of backed away from the Iran thing. Well, they not the Iran, but the Ukraine Russia war and all that. They were focusing on that. Um, they'll probably go to something. There'll be something else. There's more to follow. We might be going to another kind of pandemic scare with this hantavirus. I think maybe they're trying to reprogram people or scare people with this hantavirus because I bet you Pfizer or Moderna or another uh, Johnson and Johnson, someone, a big drug company, is going to come out with a hantavirus vaccine or some type of thing like that. RNRMA, of course. Um, you know, so we'll see what happens with that. Because they'll probably make trillions off of it, and that's kind of a repeated thing, like the COVID shots. They got the booster, they got the COVID shot, now they got the RNA flu shots that they're coming out with, and of course you need to have that over and over and over and over, and those are very expensive, and somebody's paying for that stuff, and they're making trillions. So, you know, that was one thing I was thinking of. Let's see if they get back to the global warming thing. They do like to do that, or climate change. That's another good one that they like to go to. The sea levels melting. I don't know when they'll get back to that. They probably will pretty quickly. Start talking about temperature changes and things, and showing maps on the news of areas in dark red when they're like 80 degrees or 90 degrees, making you think that it's abnormally warm or abnormally cold, or, but that's just Earth's natural cycle. It goes through cycles of, I guess, thousands of years, and we're just happen to be in that spot where it is getting hotter and colder in different areas. I mean, that's just the way it works, but they make you think, oh no, you're driving your car, or you're polluting, or whatever is destroying the ice and all that, and sea levels are going to rise, and all this crazy end of the world kind of stuff. But I don't think so. you know, um, it's all part of the cap and tax and everything else. Everything they do is to either scam us, scare us into buying things, or to control us. Um, I know there's going to be a next thing coming very soon, especially this war, because the war in Iran, well, also even though they're in Ukraine and Russia, opens up a lot of possibilities for them to um, do experiments or let diseases out or things like that. Because there is, whether you like it or not, underground military labs in every country. And they all have deadly diseases that they're experimenting on. They like to make it seem like they're experimenting to cure these things, like the WHO and other things like that, or to keep things from spreading to humans and things. But in the meantime, they're in there, they might be doing their things like that, but they're also experimenting on how to make them more deadly, and then how they can have a cure to that more deadly version, or just make this deadly version that will jump from animals to humans. They're doing it. They've done it. It's happening. That's a real thing. So we have that, and that opportunity may be something that shows up. Now, I don't know about this Iran war that's going on, but I see a lot of very stupid things going on from our president Donald Trump, which I really I am supporting Donald Trump. But shooting at oil tankers that are fully loaded is a really, really dumb thing to do, especially for America or Iran or anyone in that area, because they're going to cause a huge oil spill. Now, I care about animals and even fish. So, you know, they're going to destroy that whole area if one of those tankers breaks open. So, I don't agree with what's going on there at all. Of course, they should be escorting ships through there and protecting them. But the United States should not be shooting at oil tankers. They should be boarding them, taking them over, or escorting them through, and protecting them, because it's going to be a huge environmental problem for that whole area. So I don't like to see that. I don't know why they're doing that, but I mean, I do need to keep Iran from having nuclear weapons. That's more than clear, because look at how they're shooting at their neighbors and things. So we want that taken care of. But I don't know if you all are following the stock markets and things either. I myself, I like to talk about gold and other precious metal, platinum, silver. Um, there is other things you can invest in, but those are the ones that I would put my money in. Gold is going to be worth something no matter what. All the countries could fall, and still people will take gold. I don't know what the gold will be worth, but I'll tell you what, that piece of paper that isn't backed by anything isn't going to be worth anything. Okay, people are going to be burning that stuff to stay warm out there. If the money isn't going to be worth anything. Now the gold, silver, platinum, all that kind of things, that is going to keep its value. People who invest in that are going to have the future. I do not believe in cryptocurrency. I do like it maybe as a quick trading, like if you were going to do it within hours, of course you can make money. But as a long-term stable investment that you would want to prepare for the worst, or a lockdown, or anything else that can come our way, a pandemic, whatever else you want to say, that would be not a good idea. Crypto is something that can be monitored, checked, and everything. It's not like they make you think. The governments, all of them, most of them, ours especially, can track any payment, any blockchain, any of that can be tracked, and they can know who is using it, who's accepting it, how it's being spent, because they're going to tax you on it. And if you don't pay the tax, you're going to get penalties, and they're going to come after you and probably just shut your whole entire account down. Now, see, that's the problem. If you're holding a bar of gold in your hand, the government can't do nothing unless they come and break your door down and tear it out of your hand. But they can go on a computer and cancel any money you have right away. So, and fiat currency, they can make a dollar bill worth nothing. They can make a penny worth nothing. Supposedly, there's no more pennies. So, I don't know. Pennies could be a good investment too. Buying up as many pennies as you can would maybe be a pretty good idea. I do think that it would be a good idea. I wish that I could buy me $2 or $3 million worth of pennies and just hold them away somewhere, because not only is the copper worth a lot, but those pennies are going to be worth a lot of money. I can't predict the future on that, but I do say they're going to be well worth more than a cent. In 100 years, who knows what the value of a penny will be, from this year, the last year that was printed. So get those pennies, you know what I mean? Also, you know, I got a lot of things going on. I'm trying to do my books. I'm trying to keep up with my podcasts. I'm doing my music. I'm looking for people to help me do some things with a nonprofit. I'm working with this Neighborhoods United, and so I can have grants sent there. I'm working with them because I don't have my own nonprofit, but also they have access into some prisons and jails, and I'm trying to start some groups and things and give my books to the inmates in there for free. So for me to be able to do any of that, I need to get a grant. So if anybody would like to give me a grant, please contact me at LWG it's LWG period corporations gmail.com. I say dot, so LWG dot corporations gmail.com. My name is Lance William Green. So it would be for the self-help empowerment lifestyle funding. Okay. So also, I'm trying to reach my goal of selling 1 million copies of my book. all of my books, actually. They're available at lulu.com/Lance William Green. And I've actually lowered the prices on some of my books now. Well, maybe a few dollars. Places where I publish my books, they want more money to print them, so I had to adjust my prices. But all of my books are also available on Amazon. I prefer, if you're going to buy through Lulu.com, because I get more of the money. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get 1,000 acres or 100 acres of land to start a animal rehab center for animals and for people. I'm looking for a larger piece of land, probably in California, where it doesn't snow and things, because I want to have horses and cows and chickens and pigs and donkeys and other animals that need rescuing, and cats and dogs and all that. But I also want it to be where I can build on there, and have a rehab center and use my self-help empowerment lifestyle books and rehab program, and have a couple, like, I think, apartment building built on there where people would come, and then they would take care of the animals and then deal with their self-inflicted addictions and problems. So it would be people helping people, and people helping animals, and the animals helping the people. So that was something I wanted to do. Plus, I would like to have some cool land out, where I can start a little farm and things. That would be kind of cool, to grow all my own food and you know live a good life. I want to share that with other people too. But for me to make that happen, I need to sell some books, or I need to get some real good grants. I'm trying to sell 1 million copies of all of my books that are available at lulu.com/Lance William Green. So please check that out. All right, so I think I'm going to end this podcast. I'm going to start another one. I just wanted to check in and kind of tell people about the things I've been thinking about and what I've been noticing. Um, I don't know. Maybe I may start to do a few little longer podcasts. I just do these right off my head. I sit here and I just record it. I'm trying to have some more guests and things on here. Um, Sometimes it's difficult for me to get people that want to be on the podcast. A lot of people do want to play music and things. So I do like to do that. I like to interview people that are positive and are trying to do things with their lives or change their lives. And I like to learn about what they've done to help themselves or change their lives. That kind of interests me a little bit. So I want to hear from those types of people. But I'm also working on my books. I play some games and things. Like right now, I'm playing this Legend of Zelda for the Super Nintendo, which I don't know. I never completed it when I was a kid, so I was playing that for the fun of it and working on my Trump book that I have, of all the facts about Trump, and I have a couple other book ideas I'm working on. But I'd like to hear from some of you too. So you know, contact me at lwg.corporations@gmail.com. All right. So remember, all of my books are available at lulu.com/Lance William Green. And please tune in, like, and subscribe. But check weekly, because sometimes I'm able to post 2 to 3 of these podcasts a week. Thank you.